Here's the latest clickbait article that came across my desk. The title is "Housing Correction Coming to Alabama, See the State's Most Overvalued Real Estate Markets." They made 2 points in the article. Number one is home prices have outpaced income growth. And then number two is Huntsville is at the top of the state's list at 37.12% overvalued compared to the area's income levels. So overvalued is probably not the right term. Higher cost of living is actually more accurate in this situation, because when you compare two different cities, it's very similar to what you would call a price to earnings ratio for stocks. So you're going to pay a higher price to earnings ratio on a growth stock versus a stock that's declining in value. Same thing for cities as well. So since Huntsville is now becoming that growth stock, unfortunately, we're going to have to continue to pay higher pricing for houses because of the great place that we live in. We're the number one city to live in the US, and we have all these great entertainment venues, and with that comes a higher cost of housing. We also have several other factors that are affecting home valuations, not only in Huntsville, but across the US. One of those factors is all the money that's being printed in our economy. We haven't had so much home appreciation as we've had dollar devaluation. Take a look at this chart. It plots both the number of dollars in the market versus home values across the US. You'll see that there's a huge difference, a huge delta back in 2008, which caused that housing market crash. Whereas in today's market, 2022, those two numbers are actually lining up, both the home values and the number of dollars that are in the market. The other thing that's affecting home valuations right now is simple Econ 201, supply and demand. We have a 5.5 million home deficit in this country, which is affecting home valuations as well. Redfin recently reported that new listings are down 18%, which is the biggest decrease or the biggest decline since May of 2020. And the reason that this is important is that it continues to affect the supply and demand. And the reason that listings are down is likely because of the increase of interest rates. There's going to be fewer sellers willing to sell their home when they have a 3% rate locked in, and buying a new home is going to be at around 6% plus rate. Now, with housing supply down, Redfin recently reported that 24% of the homes still went under contract within 1 week, and 35% of the homes sold above list price, with an average list to sales ratio of 99.7% of all listings. And the reason that that's important is I survived the last housing crash that we had, the only housing crash that we've had in the last century, which was in 2008. And we did not have a 99.7% list to sales ratio, and homes were not selling within 1 week back in that time frame, which just shows that we are not in a housing crash, which is what this article is leading us to believe. So let's take a look at what the smart money is predicting. Goldman Sachs is predicting that home values are continuing to appreciate in 2022 into early 2023 and begin to flatten out. They will likely flatten out over the next year, but they are not predicted to decrease nationwide. So in conclusion, don't believe all the hype and the clickbait. Home values are likely to start to level off in 2023 and over the next 12 months, but it's unlikely we see anything close to what we saw back in 2008 with home values crashing.